Good afternoon, this is your Solent journalism update at 3:30 with me, Juliet Sawyer. Your headlines for Southampton News are: how are train delays going to affect upcoming Christmas travels? Southampton City Council want to close the last 2 authority-owned care homes in the city, and what deals can we look forward to in tomorrow's Black Friday event? If you are one of the thousands of people who use the train to commute to and from work every day, you will already be aware of the delays across the south in the last few days. Commuter Fred Bloggs explains how the delays are affecting his life.
The train delays that I've experienced have been usually caused by the strike, but the one most recently was on Tuesday, where on the way back from Winchester, caused, I believe, by overrunning works. The train I normally catch, the 18 minutes past 5, was cancelled. Fortunately, I saw on an online live update that it was cancelled, so I ran to the station and caught the 4:58 train, which obviously impacts my family life.
Southampton City Council want to close the last 2 authority-owned care homes in the city, Glenley and Holcroft House. A protest at Southampton Civic Centre was held yesterday, which our reporter Britt Robbins attended.
Hands up! Hands up!
This is the chants from protesters outside the Civic Centre yesterday as they protested against the council closing Glenley and Holcroft House, the last 2 authority-owned care homes in the area, before a council meeting takes place regarding it that afternoon. The protest was led by unions Unite and Unison, who also led a protest outside Solent University for the same cause just over 2 weeks ago. Acting Regional Secretary of Unite, Ian Woodland, spoke to us about his hopes for the result of the protest.
We want the care home closure the proposal taken off the table. Change that will affect the service users, obviously the families and local residents of the estates where the homes are based will be affected as well. This will be a very traumatic and stressful time. So what we want to make sure it happen is that it's kept in-house.
If the closures go ahead, up to 80 jobs could be at risk, as well as all residents needing to be relocated, and with this uprooting it will cause stress on them at this already very difficult time. We spoke to someone affected by the issue.
Well, I'm 87 now and none of us know when our minds are going to go, and we owe it to these old Southampton people to look after them, and I just don't think we can shed off this responsibility.
The council do promise to relocate staff and rehome all residents if this does go ahead. A decision will officially be made in February next year. Brittany Robbins, Solent News.
In national news, the UK and EU have agreed on a draft for their future relationship in regards to Brexit. The draft covers how the 2 parties will work together on various issues, including trade and security. How much do you know about Tourette's syndrome? As an often misunderstood disorder, our reporter Millie Whittaker wanted to uncover the truth of the condition which affects 300,000 people in the UK.
Often the brunt of a joke, people with Tourette's syndrome are usually believed to shout obscene phrases and swear. But this is a myth. Only 10% of the 300,000 children and adults in the UK with Tourette's have coprolalia, and in fact, no 2 people's tics are the same. Vocal tics are the most publicised symptom of Tourette's, but there are others too. Motor tics, ADHD, OCD and problems with reading and writing are all associated with the syndrome. Helen Ady, Information Manager of Tourette's Action, believes the media sensationalises the syndrome.
People who have coprolalia, which is the swearing symptom, that is usually the focus of media programmes because it's quite sensationalist. Although percentage of people with Tourette's syndrome do have coprolalia, that is only representing a very small group, and it tends to kind of feed this myth that everyone with Tourette's swears, basically. So it gives a very narrow representation of people with Tourette's.
Tics usually start at the age of 5 and affect males up to 4 times more than females. It has been deemed a hereditary disorder, but this has no effect on intelligence of an individual. In fact, it has been found most children with Tourette's have above average levels of intelligence. But can Tourette's be cured? Dr. Valerie Brandt, a psychologist and lecturer at the University of Southampton, says that there are two ways to tackle tics with behavioural therapy.
One is called habit reversal therapy. In that form of therapy, patients learn to sort of predict when they will tic, and then they will perform a counter movement that makes it impossible for them to tic. The other one is exposure with response prevention. And so quite often patients feel this urge to tic, and exposure wants patients to suppress their tics for as long as possible.
Research across the world is going on into the syndrome. Perhaps it is just a matter of time until a cure is found. But until then, 300,000 people in the UK are left to live their daily lives with the syndrome. Millie Whittaker, Solent News.
And now over to Rhiannon Ray with our entertainment updates.
Thank you, Juliet. Harry Redknapp, a former Southampton football manager, is currently appearing in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And this week, the Vintage Kilo sale is set to return to Southampton this Sunday. It starts at 10 a.m. and is set to take place in the O2 Guildhall. And now, Ollie, what's new in sport?
Thanks, Rhiannon. In F1, Robert Kubica will race for Williams in 2019. Kubica hasn't raced for 8 years after a rally accident that almost killed him. The crash severed his right arm, and he now has limited movement in his hand. Desperate to get back on the track, in 2017 he underwent a series of tests with Renault. However, he ended up only as a reserve driver for Williams in 2018. In football, the Saints travel to Craven Cottage to take on fellow strugglers Fulham, who have appointed manager and Premier League winner Claudio Ranieri in an effort to get out of relegation. The Saints will be hoping to get some points on board as they have difficult games ahead against Leicester City, Man United and Tottenham Hotspur.
Thanks for that, Ollie. And who is ready for Black Friday tomorrow? We hope you've got some spending money put aside for this annual event, which is the dream spending session for any shopaholics. All the major shops in Southampton, such as John Lewis and Debenhams, have discounted prices lined up. West Quay will be open until 10 p.m. tomorrow evening, so you can get started on all that Christmas shopping. Ollie and Rhiannon, are you guys excited for Black Friday tomorrow?
To be fair, I've never actually shopped on Black Friday. I've heard they've got good discounts, but I tend to do my Christmas shopping for my family on Christmas Eve. That's because they do the January sales. That starts on Christmas Eve. So I tend to get all my family like really, really good presents for unbelievably cheap prices. But I never tell them when I've got it, so they just think I've been extra generous.
That's a bit of a risky move, getting it right at the last minute, isn't it?
For the past 5 years, it's worked pretty soundly. So I'm going to continue to do so until it goes tits up.
And what about you, Rhiannon? Are you an organised person when it comes to Christmas shopping?
I mean, I'm really organised. I start my Christmas shopping in January, and then I just carry on during the year. Just really organised.
Well, thanks for that, guys. Hopefully, plenty of people will be enjoying some Christmas shopping this weekend, nevertheless. That's all from us for now. You can find all your stories and more at solentjournalism.co.uk.